Welcome to the Contrarians and welcome to the Contrarians live chat. It's Wednesday. Our topic tonight, rock out with your clock out. Just have to laugh at that. But yeah, that's the title. Thank you, Tim Durley. Let's do it. And I'm still laughing because I think that's the best title for a show yet. Nice. Yes, thank you, Tim Darling. Why not? Rock out with your clock out. So what we're going to talk about tonight are, like this example here. I'm going to go first tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Bruce Foxton album, Smash the Clock. I don't know. Martin, do you know what year that came out?
Wow, look at that. I would love to hear that. No, I
think idea. It's fairly recent.
I've never seen that. Huh.
Well, you know,
the Jam? Is that the Jam?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reviews that I saw, I gave it like 4 out of 5 stars when I just kind of found it. So, and it's a cool cover. Look at that. P-bass coming out of the clock. Come on. So anyway, you get the idea. So we're looking for clocks or timepieces on album covers, and we do want to hear from you in the chat. And of course, I want to welcome everybody here tonight. Of course, we have Mr. Mike Lodano, Jamie Laszlo, Tim Durling, and Martin, and myself. And let's keep it interactive, kids, and we'll have some fun tonight.
2016. I looked it up. It's 2016.
Yeah. Nice. So fairly recent. A little nice to see, but it got good reviews, so you might want to check it out. All right, my next pick, I'm going to go, my number 9 is Steely Dan, Everything Must Go. And this was the second reunion album, right?
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah.
2003
or something. But he's got a suitcase full of watches.
So strange. They had an album called that, and so did Manic Street Preachers, right? It's pretty bizarre.
Great minds think alike. Yeah. All right, there you go. That's my number 9. My number 8, I'm going to go with a 12-inch EP. I'm going to go with, normally I don't, but I knew that there was a Police cover, or there was a single, or there was something with Sting wearing a watch, and I'll be damned, it was Wrapped Around Your Finger, the 4-track 12-inch single, and Sting's got a watch on.
The Casio.
Good job.
So there's my 3. So
okay, let's say hello to everybody in the chat here. We've got my music corner, the elders here, Chrome Destiny, a lot of regulars here, and some examples coming in already. There's a question, does Pat Benatar have any? I guess we're going to find out. We get the time. What time is it? Atheist, Piece of Time. The Who, I think we're going to see the Who a little later. Jefferson Airplane, 30 Seconds Over Winterland. Rush, we're going to see the Rush shortly. Jay's here, Jason, Nathan, Henry. All right, let's move on to who are we doing, Grant?
Let's go to Mike.
Okay.
So the first one that I picked out, actually, I wanted to do something with a sundial. So I Googled sundials, and I found this album called Sundial by Carl Verheyen. I don't know anything about it, but I really like that cover. It's a sundial guitar.
Wait.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next up, Joe Bonamassa, Time Clocks. I don't have this album. I like Joe. I like Black Country Communion. I should probably check out some Joe Bonamassa, but that, of course, is one of those little sand. What do you call them?
Hourglasses.
That's right. I had a brain fart. That is an hourglass. But if you look carefully, it's also a giant hourglass. There's a little person standing next to it. Very, very small in comparison.
Looks very Hugh Syme.
I was just going to say, is that a Hugh Syme cover?
I don't think
it does look Hugh Syme, doesn't it?
I don't think it is, but I'm not certain.
Or Storm Thorgerson.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with.
And by the way, that first that Carl
Verheyen
first cover you had, did you notice that the hand on the clock looks like a Les Paul?
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that.
Cool.
Wait a minute. Finally, on the previous one?
Yeah. Take a look at that.
Let's look at that again. Hold on. This?
Yeah.
Well,
does that look like
it is a guitar? Yeah.
Or it's a guitar anyway.
Oh, but it looks like a Les Paul.
The shadow looks like a Les Paul.
You can look at the headstock, and it's got that kind of bend to it like a Les Paul. Yeah. That's cool. Nice catch.
Good
and then,
eye,
of course,
Tim Burling.
The actual sundial is a picture of a Strat, so that's kind of cool too.
Try telling time with that.
Yeah. No.
Jeez.
My final pick for this round is the MC5 High Time. Kind of an easy one there, but that's an alarm clock that looks like it exploded.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, weird cover, eh? With the weird letters and stuff. This is 1971. It's a very psychedelic rock cover, and that's probably their most psychedelic sounding album. But 71's getting a little late to be psych. But yeah, it looks like a 60s cover, eh?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
And I almost get like a kitty vibe, like the alarm clock, the big bright yellow alarm clock, and the font that says High Time. I almost get the kind of like kitty, childish vibe.
Yeah,
it's strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are my first three.
Nice,
Excellent.
nice.
Top
All right, let's move on to Jamie.
All right, how you guys doing?
Good.
Top notch.
Great.
It's about time. Remember, Tim?
Yeah.
That is definitely one of the greatest Van Halen songs. I love those.
So good.
Up for Breakfast. I love this.
Oh, when that first came out, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, those were awesome. But all right, back to Jason.
Jamie.
Back to Jamie.
My
Who's
first
Jason?
album is I got out of
I'm losing my mind.
It's Jason. Oh well, classic.
Yeah, that
moment.
came out, and I go, "Do we got Jason on this show at all?
Never.
What is going on?"
Oh
right.
my god, a classic moment. All right.
All right. Bing. Second time around. I bought this at a dollar bin. It's not a must-have. I just did notice that I don't think I ever listened to it. Lola on here is 1:40 Wow. It's gotta be like a snippet from a live performance or something, right?
Is that a boot? Is that a legit release?
It's like their mid-period songs,
Yeah.
mostly, except for Lola, which is kind of like a little earlier. Like
I
School
kinda remember
Days on
seeing that.
here. And
I've never seen it.
I don't know. Me neither. That's why I was like, for $1, goes in the trash.
Yeah. Interesting.
Stephen Stills, Thoroughfare Gap. He has a watch on while he's racing that horse or on that.
He's
horse
timing
racing.
himself.
Yes. There you
Probably the
go.
only time Stills ever rode a horse. I don't know.
I was like, that counts. Damn it. There's a watch.
No one bought this record, by the way. So, you know,
The horse did.
the horse bought it.
I did.
Jamie, you buy that Kinks album too. So, you
Yeah.
know, you can't count you.
Buy that for $1. Rush, Time Machine, live in Cleveland.
Yep.
I think we'll be seeing another Rush album coming up, but in the meantime, that one has a clock right
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
I got a
Not
lot
just
of Rush
clock.
live albums, and they kind of
Not just a clock, but also clock works there.
Yes,
It's almost like a double.
Yeah.
that's it. Jason is done.
All right. Very cool.
Jason's done.
Jason. And we have a Jason here mentioning
Yeah,
area.
Jason's here, but
Equation. Joe Satriani Time Machine. I think that's coming up. Grand Funk on Time, I believe, might be coming up.
it's
Tumbleweeds.
it is.
Is it Sticks Edge of the Century? All right. Kim Derling.
Tom here.
Yeah.
My first one, somebody wrote on this. It's a used copy. Fate's Warning Parallels is a grandfather clock. This is a Hugh Syme cover.
Oh, yeah.
As is Sticks Edge of the Century, by the way. But yeah, grandfather clock in the background there. Next one
The only good thing about Edge of the Century was the artist doing the cover.
Let's next one. I've got no argument there, but the next one is has already been mentioned. The Time, and what time is it? This, I mean,
I love that album cover.
yeah, clocks everywhere. Evidently, that's a very rare 8-track to find a retail version of. It's not one on my list, but apparently it's very rare. Next up, Public Enemy. It Takes a Nation of Millions. Flavor Flav. had to have some Flavor Flav on here.
100%.
And finally, that's my third one. Never mind.
Because
All right.
Flavor Flav rocks out with his clock out.
Absolutely.
He embodies it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He embodies
Bodies it. Yeah, nice one. Yeah. Okay. My first one is Rush Clockwork Angels, of course. And yeah, they're not a very good cover. I never liked this cover.
But take note of what time is depicted
Yeah.
on the clock. That would
Yeah.
be
2112.
That would be 2112, like
Yeah,
912
yeah.
military time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and all the symbols and stuff, and it's like, and there's, it's almost like they overloaded this album with meaning, kind of thing. It was almost like too desperate. And there is more clockworks on the inside. You've got more of the gears and stuff. The whole famous. I mean, I love that whole steampunk sort of era they went through and stuff. There was a lot of cool stuff with that, right? But yeah, okay. So that's my first one. Second one, Rolling Stones, Time Waits for No One anthology, 71 to 77. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at that, Martin. I'm going, what is he singing in here?
I've never seen this album before.
I never have either.
Yeah, there's the tongue logo, which a buddy of mine, Ernie Cephalou, came up with. He came up with that whole idea with Pacific Eye and Ear Company, right? He was with. So yeah, I've never seen this one. And then my last one, I've got Anthrax, Persistence of Time.
Yeah,
signed up copy of that.
Of course.
Yeah, bit of a strange album. Bit of a strange record I'm looking at here, because mine, for some reason, I've got a Canadian copy of this. So this goes right up until the end of the vinyl era, 1990, but it's really glossy. It's almost like an import. I don't know why they did this here, but yeah, kind of a difficult album for them. It's kind of dark. The recording's a little thin on it, but yeah, you definitely got the clock right in the middle there. So that is my first three. Let's see what else we've got here coming in. Time Waits for No One Was a Comp. The UK got Instead of Made in the Shade. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Good
All
to
right.
know.
Thank you, panel, for enlightening us. That's great.
Aquin Stories of Time and Space. Yeah, I can't picture that one. That sounds like some weird comp that I don't know about.
I have no idea.
Bill Haley and the Comets, Rock Around the Clock. Okay. Yeah, Joe Bonamassa. I barely know those records at all. I don't really know much about him, period. Sabotage, Tony Iommi is Wearing a Watch. I did not know that. Classic.
Really?
All right. Over to Grant.
All right. My next one, I'm going to go with, let's see. I'm going to go with, here we go. I have to laugh. Because I was, by this point in the game, when I'm getting up to my later ones, I'm going, God, I've got to find something. Well, I found the Monkees' greatest hits, and damn it, if Davy Jones isn't wearing a watch, and I think Mike Nesmith's
two of them are, yeah.
Watch. That's double. That I can show this for my number 7 and number 6.
You can, absolutely.
Hell yes. Anyway, I didn't. But anyway. So anyway, there's 2 watches. And my next one, I'm going to go with Culture Club, 12 worldwide hits, the first 4 years. I think it's called This Time is what it really is called. But anyway, look, you got freaking George. He's the clock face, for goodness sakes.
So what did his later albums sound like? Did anybody know?
I don't know.
I only know the Crying Game.
I know the later Culture Club. Every Culture Club album that I've bought of the later ones have all been great.
Interesting. Yeah.
Top notch.
With Mike Peters passing, I was playing before we started here. I was playing some Alarm and going, can I finally get into this band? And I'm playing and going, no, I can't. I mean, it's just like general rock, It's like, and then I'm thinking, I got general rock bands that I think are the greatest thing in the world. I'm sure a lot of people think this is the greatest thing in the world. But if you weren't there at the time getting into some of these albums that are just kind of here nor there, it's like, I don't know how. So I've tried periodically over the years to get into the Alarm, and it's like conservative U2, basically, right?
That's what I was going to say. Poor man's U2.
Yeah. He suffered he had that cancer for a long time.
He was supposed to be on the 80s cruise here this past March, but he was too sick and had to cancel at the last minute.
Yeah.
I saw them live. Guess who they opened up for?
U2.
Pat Benatar.
Oh.
Jamie, you say poor man's U2, but I said conservative on purpose because there's a lot of bands out there, right, that are the poor man's version of another band, but they're also like the regular rock version of that band, right? They're that band with like some of the personality removed, right?
Right.
And that's kind of how I feel about those guys, because they obviously went through a lot of phases. And then you look at, they had this massive catalog through the 2000s. They had a ton of albums out, right?
Some things click and some things don't.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
right.
My next pick was brought up in the comments. I don't know who mentioned it, but here we go. Grand Funk Railroad on time. Look at that big clock that Don Brewer's holding.
Nice.
Impressive, I must say. Very impressive.
Sold it to Flavor Flav, right?
Yeah, there you go.
This is where Flava Flav got his inspiration, was Don Brewer. Don't forget, Don Brewer has changed the music industry. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So that's my number 5.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, or unless
Are you going to do a number 6?
Oh no, I already did 3. Wait a minute.
Okay, that was your number 6. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I did 3.
Hang on, let's take a quick look here. Eric Clapton, Timepieces, that might be coming up. John Mayer, Born and Raised. I don't know if that's coming up. Let's see. B.B. King, Riding with the King. Clapton's Wearing a Watch. Grant, Very Best of Culture Club, also is a class compilation. Eric Dolphy, Out to
It
Lunch.
is a great compilation.
All right, on to Ladano.
Okay, so for my next 2 picks, I kind of cheated a bit. I didn't pick front album covers. I picked one back cover and one single cover, but you can read about these in Martin's new book, Hallowed by Thy Name.
Right.
So the first one, let's talk about Iron Maiden's Wasted Years single.
Let's talk about it.
So we got 3 clocks there, and I guess the first one there is the date in his time travel that he's intending to go to. The date that he is coming from, and the date that he currently is at in his travel. So he's on his way to 2050 from 1986. That's the release date of the actual single. But we have some digital clocks going on here. And if you look really, really closely, way off in the distance, we have Doctor Who's TARDIS, which may figure into my list later on. Next up is the back cover to Somewhere in Time. And you can see it's 2 minutes to midnight on the little digital
like the 21
clock there
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many Easter eggs on this album cover here. You can't, we could go all night, but that's a back cover and I love it. Both of those are by Derek Riggs, of course. And speaking of the TARDIS, I thought, why not a Doctor Who soundtrack? Because I'm a soundtrack geek. Let's do a Doctor Who soundtrack. So I found a really cool one, The Edge of Destruction, which was originally released in 1964. These are nice CD reissues by the BBC archives. I'm a big Doctor Who geek. Love this stuff. And, if you're going to go time travel, I recommend taking a TARDIS. So there you go. There's my next 3.
All right. Over to Jamie.
All right. By the way, I'm sitting here to show off my new Tapper game.
Cool.
I was going to ask about that. I love that game.
Yeah, super fun.
He is in a different location within the man cave. I was going to say something.
Right. Different corner of my world. This next one is a box set, Moody Blues Time Traveler, and you got a sundial on there. If you look pretty closely, there, right.
Oh yeah,
there's your sundial. Kind of a useless box set. There's no extra stuff on here, no live stuff, no demos, just the regular songs from the albums. So if you have the albums, you don't need this. But if you ever just wanted to dive into the band, I think you get this for like $10, and you got pretty much everything you need without having to have all the albums. My next one, I don't know. Uriah Heep live in Coco? I don't know, Martin. Do you have this?
I've never seen it before.
No, I don't have it. Looks like a Johannes design, though. We sadly lost Johannes.
Yes, it does.
Buddy of ours, but it looks like this is when he was working with them, right? Wake the Sleeper and all that.
It looks like Hugh Syme to me, or it could be. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Probably is Johannes because that's the same font that he was using.
Yeah. It's literally like the hands on the clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool.
Very nice.
And my next album, I have seen this cover for most of my life. I have known about this band for most of my life. I never really dove into them. I never listened to the album, even though I've seen the cover a bazillion times. And that is Replacements, Pleased to Meet Me.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right. There. Good one. Yeah. Love that record. Awesome album.
It's a good record.
Yeah.
I should probably listen
even
to
like
it.
the album cover.
I think it's my favorite.
Is that like 89 or 87?
Yeah, I'd say 87.
It's 80, yeah. You like it better than Tim, Martin?
Yeah, it's the one right after Tim, right? And then it goes what? All shook down?
Doesn't this have Alex Chilton on it? Correct me if I'm wrong. I
no.
think Alex Chilton's on here.
Best
isn't it?
production too. Yeah, better than Hootenanny and Let It Be and all those. Sorry, Ma, forgot to take out the trash, all that stuff. I mean, I think they're working through that punk phase, and they get to Tim, and that's still a little wild. And this is almost like the perfect balance between this and then it gets really commercial, right? It gets really acoustic after that.
Mr. Buckets. Mr.
album.
Buckets, is Alex Chilton on this album? Please let us know.
Yes, Mike. The Replacements had an album called Tim. I know you're giggling about that.
I'm easily amused.
They have one called Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
In fact, I guess there's just one album after this, right? Just All Shook Down, isn't that right? Just one more record?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, and then we've got the Paul Westerberg solo canon
All right.
after that, right? Okay. Was that 3?
That was. Let me
3,
look.
Jamie?
That was my 3.
That was
Okay,
3.
Yep, on to Tim.
Okay, so the next 2 have already been mentioned in the comments. First one, my wife suggested John Mayer, Born and Raised.
Okay.
Clock in there, very old-timey looking. And the next one is a best of from Eric Clapton, I think from '82, Timepieces. Oh yeah. And the next one, I was actually going to get in on the Rush thing with the Caravan single, but I decided to do something a little different and show off this tribute album that came out in '96 called Working Man. So we've got sort of the Blue Man Group version of Flavor Flav here.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
So that's my next 3.
Man, try to find a decent image of that. This one's all pixelated. They're all crappy out there.
Yeah, it's probably very early computer graphics. Anyway, I like a lot of the performances in this album.
The Sebastian Bach, the Devin Townsend, they're both awesome tracks.
Yeah.
So is the Jack, the guy from Great White.
Yeah, Jack Russell singing Analog Kid. Yeah, that's sounds better.
That's cool.
It's better than it might sound. It's actually pretty cool.
Neat. All right. My next one, I think I have this on CD. I should have grabbed it. Kingdom Come, Hands of Time. Great catalog, these guys. This would be, what would this be?
It was 91, wasn't
third
it?
album, maybe?
It's album
Yeah.
number 3 from 91.
Yeah. After In Your Face and the Kingdom Come self-titled. Yeah. So yeah, this is you got the sundial there with the shadow. Great catalog. I mean, this is another catalog I should spend more time with. Lenny Wolf's awesome. He's so cool. But yeah, so that's my next one. Then I've got Bluish Occult Specters. Took out my copy of that as well. We've got the grandfather clock up in the corner. And the neat thing, actually, it's on the back as well with Buck there. The neat thing about this is Monty Connor has done one of his cool Facebook posts where he found the original photo that they think that this was from. And it's quite different. I think it's a bunch of old cowboys sitting around playing poker or something. Yeah, I've always just thought this cover was just the best. So cool. With the, and this is the, they all have the Bluish Occult symbol on them, right? So this one has it just on the crystal ball down in the corner, halfway off the bottom.
I'll be darned.
You've got the Bluish Occult symbol on there, right? So that's really cool. Great back cover, of course, as well. And then my last one is Clocks. Just like I went with Billy Idol, Without a Face, Rebel Yell last time, I thought I'd go with Clocks. And I just we've got a hint of the Salvador Dali thing happening there, but we've got clocks on the wall, and their logo almost looks like a clock, like it could be a digital clock. But I don't know. Is there any other? I can't even remember what this album sounds like.
Did they have a song?
It's all right.
Did they have a song called "She Looks a Lot Like You"? Is that this band? That's what I thought. That's the only thing I.
That was the hit.
This is like Rat's Invasion of Your Privacy gone wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Scene of the
or the
crime.
Hounds, or that BTO one.
Yeah.
Or Teens, One Night Stands. Is this band from the power pop era? Or are they kind of like?
I think they're kind of power poppy.
It's like 1980-ish kind of thing. I
I
don't
think
know.
they were from Kansas, actually, the state.
Wow. All right.
It's obscure. Try to find. When I was trying to find the album cover, I have the CD, but I could not find anything out. Everything like on Discogs is all beat up. It's like, geez, there's no copies out there, decent copies of this record out there.
All right, let's take a quick look over to the comments. We get Gary Joyce ringing in with UK Danger Money and Dream Theater Awake. I love that Danger Money cover. It's so cool. So golden earring, right?
Well, that's Hypnosis, correct?
Yep. Star One Revel in Time, says Gary. Duke's, yeah, that's coming up. Jethro Tull Stand Up. You can see Ian's watch. Very cool. Dolphy, yeah, we mentioned that one earlier. All right, on to Grant.
First of all, we want to say, look who's here gracing our presence tonight. Guitar Hack, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you, Hack.
Very cool.
Very nice. Yeah, okay, let's see. I got to scroll clear to the top. Grand Funk. Okay, Gary Joyce just mentioned this. UK Danger Money. Yeah, as you can see, the watch is on his on the sink right beside his.
Okay. Yeah,
I love that cover though.
Yeah,
and I love that album. All right, my number 3. This is kind of related. Well, no, it's not. The album by PM. Did anybody know this record?
Nice, good one.
This was the album. This was the project from Carl Palmer after Lake and Palmer broke.
I can't remember who else is in it.
But doesn't that have the bass player Eric Scott that played with Alice Cooper in the early 80s? I'm pretty sure that's him on this too.
Yeah.
But talk about an obscure album. I mean, come on.
Great for our theme. That's awesome.
Great theme.
Yeah.
And then talk about another obscure album, unless you had this when you were a kid, and I bet someone here probably did. The kids from the Brady Bunch.
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on. Look, it's got a clock on it.
Never seen that before. Huh.
I don't know what label that was on.
Cool.
But if you want to listen to the Brady Bunch kids sing, this is the record for you.
Yeah.
And my this isn't really my number 1, but I guess it's my number 1. God, are we done at the end already? I guess we are.
I don't think so.
The Who sings My Generation, which has been brought up in the chat many times.
Yeah.
So
we
have to represent that.
Iconic. All right. Over to Ladano.
Hey, Grant, you know what I really liked about your PM pick is that it looks like your alarm clock when you wake up in the middle of the night and your eyes aren't focused and you've got sleep in your eyes. That's brilliant. That is
I'm going to ask anybody here. Anybody in the comment section, have you heard this record?
It does have Eric Scott on it. It also has John Nitzinger.
Oh, do you have this, Jamie?
No.
You've got everything else. Okay. Does anybody in the chat tell us what it's, if you've heard it, what does it sound like?
Is there a singer?
I have no idea. I just found it.
Man, I actually interviewed John Nitzinger once, and we wrote up the story of one of the Nitzinger albums in that old Eel Metal series I did years ago.
All right, if Gary Joyce hasn't heard it, then we know that there's no one else has ever heard it.
I've owned it. I've heard it.
You've owned it?
I don't remember anything about it. Oh, yeah, I might even still have it, actually.
Probably signed.
So this would have been Carl Palmer right before Asia then, because this is 1980.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
Pretty cool, though. Now I'd like to hear it just to hear what it sounds like.
It also reminds me of AC/DC Power Up.
Yeah.
I'll repeat my Keith Olsen quote he's keeping me in stitches, right? He goes, for Carl Palmer, Time was a magazine.
Oh,
yeah. Plays in time, more or less.
Poor Carl.
Yeah.
All right, LaDonna, you're up.
All right. So for my next pick, let's keep going with the time travel theme. This is a band I've actually never listened to. Seven Dust, Time Travelers and Bonfires. There it is. It's a very simple watch, pocket watch.
Cool.
You know what they are? They're smart man's douche rock.
Okay.
Seven Dust is douche rock?
Yeah, they were like smart in the new metal thing. I remember we covered them a lot in the magazine. I interviewed them 2, 3, 4 times. We met them and stuff. Yeah, they're basically you're right. I mean, I guess it's kind of like more technical, heavier version of Nickelback in a way.
Weren't they managed by JJ French?
Yeah. Yes. And and I think they have a gold record actually.
Yeah, they did okay. Is that a watch or is it a compass?
Look them up.
That looks just a pocket watch.
It looks like a pocket watch to me. But then again, it only has one hand, so I might have
Lejean
says
Witherspoon, right?
You know what?
Yeah.
Tim, it's only got one hand, so it does look like a compass, but then on the other hand, it says time travelers and bonfires. So the jury's out.
Look, it works. I'm just
No, I'm confused too. Let's move on to one that's less confusing.
These guys, hang on. Let's pay these guys tribute because the first album went gold, the second album went gold. So Seven Dust, gold in '97, Home, gold in '99, and Animosity, gold in 2001. See if they got any comps that went gold. No, that's it.
I own one of them. I can't remember which one I own.
3 gold records, man. That's
Hey, Jason says I like the first 2 Seven Dust albums, but after that, douche rock for sure.
Were they
Cause
one of
my
those
balloons to go off.
Were they one of those Ozfest type bands? They would.
I think so.
Yeah,
on
probably.
TBT.
Yeah.
Boy, they kept going too. They have a ton of records out.
Are they still together?
They got like a dozen albums.
I think they're still together. Yeah.
All right. Well, good for
They
them.
had a little King's X in them, maybe.
Yeah, I like them. I feel guilty calling them douche rock, but I mean, I
Jamie
liked them
doesn't.
at the time. I was totally into them. Yeah,
I don't feel guilty about much. Ever.
No. Good for you.
the cool of the evening. I don't feel guilty about much.
Oh Lord. All right.
Let's check out the Swedish guitar maestro Yngwie J. Malmsteen next. This guy always wears a lot of gold jewelry and stuff when he's playing guitar, which always kind of strikes me as awkward, but who knows? He's the guitar player. I'm not. But there he is wearing a very nice gold watch on his right wrist. And I like Yngwie in small doses only. You listen to a couple of his albums in a row and it feels like you've got bumblebees inside your head.
Mike, is there a certain era that you would recommend a newbie going into Yngwie? What?
Yeah, like the first 4 or 5 albums.
Okay.
From the first one with Jeff Scott Soto up till the Joe Lynn Turner stuff. Yeah. And even the Mike Viscara album that he did in the 90s. I really like the Mike Viscara album. The Seventh Sign, I think it was called.
I think Odyssey is the most
accessible.
It's the most user-friendly one, especially if you like the rainbow stuff.
And you know what? A lot of people really like his Live in Leningrad. I hear a lot of people praising that album. Yeah. So maybe that's a good sort of starting point.
Trilogy is a good album.
That's with Mark Bowles on lead vocals. Honestly, though, that Yngwie Malmsteen collection that's on the screen right now is the one I listen to the most frequently. It's a nice, tight, compact sampling of his first 6 or 7 records. So go for that one.
Sometimes
right
if I want a good laugh, I'll go to YouTube and I'll put on the video for I'll See the Light Tonight.
Right.
Oh boy.
I think that is my favorite Yngwie album, though. Like the second one, the one that was all vocals after the first.
Marching Out.
It's Marching Out. Yeah.
What's the one that's got the dragon on it?
That's Trilogy. It's a 3-headed dragon.
Isn't that an early one?
Yeah,
that's 86. That's his third one.
I bought a couple of Yngwie CDs because I couldn't believe it that I don't never ever really see them. And it was one and Rising Force. Is that the one where the Strat's on fire?
Yeah, that's his first. That's his first one. That's mostly instrumental. Yeah.
I heard so much Yngwie back in the 80s when all the kids would come into the guitar store and I heard it so much.
Yeah.
He was big, man. All the kids wanted to be Yngwie or Van Halen. Either of those two. That's it.
Yeah.
They were like gods back then, yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. But Yngwie, he just was like something that came down from another planet back then. No one played as fast as he did.
No. Not a fan.
Well, I'm not. I'm listening. I'm just giving it a shot.
It's an acquired taste. Let's put it that way. Moving on, second last, I wanted to do another movie soundtrack. This is a personal favorite movie of mine. It's called Time After Time, directed by Nicholas Meyer. Movie soundtrack is by Miklos Rosa, but this is a really cool science fiction story. What if H.G. Wells didn't just write the book, The Time Machine, but actually invented the time machine himself? And what if Jack the Ripper, as played by David Warner, steals it and travels in time forward to the 1980s? So we have Malcolm McDowell playing H.G. Wells and David Warner as Jack the Ripper in this time travel odyssey to stop him from murdering in the future where he could never be caught. Very cool and a great soundtrack as well. My final pick is the one that it's the very first one I thought of with a watch, and it's Kiss, Lick It Up. And there they are in their street clothes. And there's
Yeah.
Paul, like he's almost like showing off his watch, like, hey man.
I'm surprised that this was like one of your first picks because
Yeah.
I never noticed Paul wearing a watch. But
Y'all
yeah,
know
you're
what
right.
time it is, people. It's time for the rock and roll national anthem.
I just spent way too much time, analyzing this cover. My next door neighbor had the same necklace as Gene Simmons with the skulls, and the guy had sold it to him, told him, yeah, Gene threw this out in the concert in Toronto, and I caught it, and stuff like that. But yeah, I love this album cover because of its basic simplicity and just them in their street clothes hanging out. I'm sure. Yeah, Paul looks like that all the time, he's just hanging out, ordering his McBurger at McDonald's, and that's what he looks like. But that's his watch. That's his actual watch. That's not a piece of costume. So there you go. My final pick.
It almost looks like Eric Carr's got a watch, like his hand, he put his hand in his pocket there.
There's
Tim,
no
don't-
watch
don't-
on
don't
the
look
Elder cover, is there? No.
No, there is not a watch on the Elder cover. There is not. That would
Damn
be
it,
an
Paul.
anachronism,
Should have
I
wore his
think.
watch for that.
Yeah, that was Paul's hand. Yes.
Mhm.
Anyway, there you go. That's it.
All right, over to Jamie.
All right. Elton John, Captain Fantastic, and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. If you look down there, you see them carrying some little.
Oh yeah.
Way at the
Cool.
bottom.
Yeah.
Who
At
did
the
that?
bottom.
Who did that cover?
Can't remember.
I don't know. Google it.
I will.
In reverse, Matthew Sweet. Where
Never
she
heard of
has
it.
Her little timepiece there. There is a really cool song on this album called Thunderstorm. It's almost 10 minutes long. Is it almost 10 minutes long or is it shorter? Nope, it's almost 10 minutes long.
If there's any Matthew Sweet album that needs remixed, it's that one. I think. Of course, he might have wanted it to sound like a bad Phil Spector album, but I don't.
The artwork for the Elton John cover was done by Alan Aldridge, drawing fantastic imagery from the Renaissance painting The Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch, which everybody knows if they know the third Deep Purple album.
Interesting.
Those Game Theory albums are great, by the way. Scott Miller, he was brilliant. God, those Game Theory albums are good.
Did I ever tell you guys the story? I don't know who told me this, but somebody said that they were EMI were clearing out the was it EMI? Something to do with, why do I think EMI? Anyways, he went out. He was part of the record company, I think, and out in the bin, they had thrown out the original art for Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and the glass was busted. It was cut through it and stuff, and he rescued it out of there. It's like,
oh my God,
throwing it out in the dumpster.
Wow,
the original painting. Yep, crazy. Eh?
Oh wow.
Well, what about remember all those? I don't know if it's true. I think it's true, but isn't it true that Dunhill or whatever threw away all the mono masters to like a lot of stuff when they were clearing house, like the Mamas and the Papas and Steppenwolf, all those mono masters, they just threw them away.
Yeah,
it makes me think of the Atari ET games buried in the desert.
Oh yeah,
which turned out that wasn't as bad as it sounded. I watched a documentary on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I got two more.
Okay.
Wheel, Preserved in Time. This is a 2021 doom metal album. Band is from Germany.
Oh, okay. Wheel.
You got the hourglass there.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, there's your hourglass.
Nice.
Now, my last one's just for fun. Someone asked, does Pat Benatar have an album with a clock on the cover? Not exactly. But I did go with Crimes of Passion, Pat Benatar. But if you turn around and you see the back cover, there's not really any. Oh, there is a watch there. But Neil Dorado's wearing a watch. But I'm not going with that because if you look there, I actually have a clock. An actual clock of that cover.
Nice.
And it's
She's not wearing a watch here.
As you can see, that is the time right now.
Wow.
1985, I found this in a little shop. I just had my license for like 2 months.
Here, I'm just
So
going to
a
hold
little
that.
shop.
I'm just going to hold this the rest of the show like this.
drove to a little shop and saw this for $30. Drove back to my dad. He was at our my uncle's place, and I said, "Can I have $30 for a clock?" And he gave it to me. I was shocked.
Wow.
I do have a story about this promo poster, though. When I was a kid in Marion, Ohio at Musicland, they had this poster hanging up behind the checkout counter at Musicland. And when you're a young boy, I'm saying just young enough, all I could do was stare at it. And I had to have my own personal copy as an adult. But when you were a kid, what year was this? 81, 82? What
80?
was this?
80.
Oh, 80. I was like 15. Yeah, I was ready.
It's in the studio, that poster, in a WKRP in Cincinnati episode behind Johnny Fever.
Neat.
Cool.
Get yours today, kids. Didn't she
All right.
hate that poster? She hated that poster, I think.
Probably.
On to
I love it.
Okay. All right. So my final four, most of these I have. First one has been mentioned many times. Joe Satriani, Time Machine. I don't know. This reminds me of something, and I can't quite figure out what it reminds me of. But I'm thinking that artwork must have been based on something. My next one, when we got talking about, early in the discussion, it's like, well, what about Hourglass and Sundials? Do those count? Well, yeah. I mean, they're basically just inconvenient clocks, right? And I got thinking sundial. And I thought of this one, Survivor, when seconds count from 86. That's sort of a sundial / clock thing. The next one I found online, this may be the first time this artist was ever mentioned on the Contrarians, Dwight Yoakam, and this time from, I believe, 1993.
I have that album.
Yeah, that one there. Yeah,
I've seen that in the dollar bin before. I can tell you that.
That was a pretty popular album, I think. So I've seen a lot of used copies of it. And my last one was the first one I thought of when I thought of this topic, from 1987, the Best of 38 Special Flashback. And there are clocks, they're kind of blurry, but they're clocks that all have different times on them. So that's my last four.
Excellent. All right. Let's take a quick look over to the comments here. Mentions of the great Tommy Aldridge. Game Theory. Alan Aldridge also did the art for the Who's. A quick one. Happy Jack. Very cool. Chrome Destiny. Rip Scott Miller. Game Theory. Yeah. 1993 compilation. Distortion of Glory. Yeah, I remember Game Theory. I was totally into them for a little while.
Like it.
Okay. My final four. Kicking off big with the Oak Ridge Boys. All right. Seasons. The guys were joking with me, saying, you must really be having a hard time with this if you're going to go with Oak Ridge Boys. There you go.
This is the first time the Oak Ridge Boys has ever been mentioned on this channel.
Guys got a watch on. So next, I've got Aerosmith with Rock in a Hard Place.
Yeah, this is cool.
I don't know where it is.
Is that it's Stonehenge, I think.
Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what Stonehenge is for. Did they ever figure out what it's for?
Time, maybe it's one of the things that might be. Might have to do with telling the time, but and there's your clue, because Joey Kramer on the back
is wearing a watch.
There you go.
And look at Rick Dufay on the back cover of that album.
His sweater.
No, he looks so completely baked.
Oh yeah. Maybe, yeah.
And Joey Kramer is doing a Michael Anthony impression.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of true.
Let's see.
Yeah. So hang on, I gotta.
Joey.
Oh my God, he looks just like Michael Anthony.
Yeah.
And then if I go this way, then we get to there you go.
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah,
it's the sweater, Tim.
Well, that's pot smoke behind him.
Yeah.
It's
just it's.
All right. Next, I've got Genesis, A Trick of the Tail. And this one you've got to look really, really closely. But there is a pocket watch. That's is it falling out of his pocket? Yeah, it's falling out of his pocket down there in the bottom.
Martin, who signed that?
Steve Hackett.
Cool.
Of course.
And then my final one of my favorite bands of all time, a faux band. They only made one album and one EP, Dukes of Stratosphere.
Yes.
So this is XTC in psychedelic mode.
Where is it?
Kind of like Naz Nomad. Who else ever did this, guys? Who else ever made a psych album? A band that just went out to.
Well,
anyways,
there's an album that was made by what's his name? Who did the song? Andrew Gold, The Fraternal Order of Love, that came out in 1997. It's very similar to
Andrew
the
Gold,
Dukes.
like Lonely Boy.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's called The Fraternal Order of Love. It's phenomenal. Graham Goldman's on some of it. It's fabulous.
Well,
Highly recommend
those two guys were in Wax, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was okay.
And listen to this on the back here. This goes to our theme. By the way, yeah, it's called 25 o'clock and it's got a clock. In the back, it says, the Dukes say it's time. It's time to visit the planet Smile. It's time the love bomb was dropped. It's time to eat music. It's time to kiss the sun. It's time to drown yourself in soundgasm. And it's time to dance through the mirror. The Dukes declare it's 25 o'clock. And the band's names are Sir John Johns, The Red Curtain, Lord Cornelius Plum, and E.I.E.I. Owen. Very cool.
Is that like two Big Bens on there too?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Big Ben.
There's at least 7 clocks. At least 7 clocks on that cover.
Kids, it's Big Ben.
Who did
only 6 songs? Unfortunately, the album's great too. Right?
It's a great record. Who did the album artwork? Does anybody know?
Let's see what it says here. Produced with love by John Leckie Swami. Captured gently at Chapel Lane Studios, Hereford. I don't know. There's no credits here. Hang on. Does it got it? Oh, I got it. Oh no, it's not an inner. What is this? Why do I have this? Did this come with it? I don't know. It looks like maybe I printed. This is probably printing out the lyrics when the internet first started. Did you guys ever go crazy when the internet started and print stuff out? Right?
Yep, I did.
Yeah, funny. All right, that was my final 4. On to Grant.
Well, am I still going? I thought I did all
right.
We're done.
That's right. We are done.
See, we change our order up and we can't keep track of what the hell we're doing.
Anything else new come in? Let's see. Maybe not.
8 clocks. There's 8 clocks on that thing.
Disregard of time keeping. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the 25 o'clock, according to Discogs, the artwork was done by the Technicolor Prophet of Mars, which lo and behold, that's the only credit given here. So I'm guessing it's a pseudonym.
Actually, here it is. It's down in the corner. Yeah, sleeve art, Sir John Johns, ink, the Technicolor Prophet of Mars, trouble and type, the Seraph of Nottingham. Funny,
of course.
Very cool.
Yeah. Like
what is this, Sir John Johns, Andy Partridge?
Yeah, singing guitar, brain buds. The Red Curtain is electric bass song stuff. Lord Cornelius Plum is mellotron, piano, organ, fuzz tone guitar, and E.I.E.I. Owen is drum set. So,
but you know what really is brilliant about this record? Not only are the songs great, but they totally 100%. This could have been recorded in 1967.
Yeah,
the sound, the way it sounds. Yeah. Absolutely stunning that they were able to do this, but they were using all the old instruments. They were using old gear on it.
Yeah, wicked.
It's just brilliant. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So, all right, wrap her up.
Hey,
all right.
Strawberry alarm clock. I just found it.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah. It sounds like the Strawberry alarm clock, 100%.
The funny thing is about the star. Was it Martin? Was it Ed King from Leonard Skinner that started out in Strawberry Alarm Clock?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
It was one of the guys in Leonard Skinner. Yeah, that's so you wouldn't think that those two worlds would intertwine, but yeah.
And I think Ed co-wrote a lot of the original songs that they were doing.
Yeah. Cool.
Ed's had quite a history, you know. Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. I do want to thank everybody in the chat. It's been a fun show. It seems like these shows are getting more fun as we keep going. Anyway. I thank the panel, Mr. Ladano, Mr. Laszlo, Mr. Durling, and Martin, myself. If you'd like to be on these panels, we'd love to have. Oh, look who's here! For goodness sakes,
Rob Corner
and Scott. Can we have? Look at this. We had Guitar Hack and Scott from the Prog Corner here. What is going on?
This is a red letter day.
Well, we know that they're not the same person.
Nope.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for coming on. If you'd like to support the channel, hey, we didn't get any donos tonight. Oh, well, it's fine. We need some donos, people. No, we don't. Well, yeah, we do. Okay. Please join the Patreon if you'd like to support us that way. There's a lot of the shows go up early. We discuss stuff, and the Patreon's been hot lately. A lot going on in Patreon right now, so you'd probably like it. Buy us a pint or a cup of coffee on Ko-fi. We would enjoy that. like I said, donos. We just like talk music on this show. That's what this show is about. Maybe we've turned you on to something, and we hope we have. So maybe you'll go out and check something out. All right, gentlemen, I'm ready to wrap this dog up. Everybody, it's Wednesday. Have a good week, and well, we'll see you on the next thing. And once I can find my closing thing. Oh, here we go. All right, we'll see you.
All right.